What's up? What's up? Leopold Ashley with another video. This one is called Saving an Asian Guy. I did save an Asian guy before. So, first of all, we're going to bring the story way back to when I was 7. So, I was living in Morristown, New Jersey, and I was going to this school called Alfred Vail. It's in Morristown. And they took us to the beach, and I was excited because, I ain't never been to the beach like that. So, me, it was a lot of people there that day. I'm moving through crowds, and I got my feet in the water. It was warm. I'm like, man, this feels amazing. So, I keep going out, and it's getting waist deep, and I'm like, oh, okay, this feels good. I see people around me, so I just keep going, and then all of a sudden it's like at my neck, and I'm like, I'm trying to turn back the other way now, because the water keeps bringing me towards the ocean, and all of a sudden I'm trying to jump back to where the shore was, but I go towards the ocean, and like my feet's touching. Like soon as my feet touch the ground, like the water is way above my head now, and I'm screaming. I'm like, when you're underwater and those bubbles come up, like that's what I was doing. So, and then I just jump, and then I my head would stick out, and I'd be like, help! And then I go back down, and then I jump up again. I was like, help! And then, I did that for a while, and I was getting tired. And then I kept going towards the ocean. And then one time when I went down, it was like, I looked up and it was like the water was so deep. And then I just felt this hand grab my hand, pulled me towards the shore. Like it was like fast. It was like pulled me towards the shore. So then I got in standing water, and I'm like going like this. I'm looking around like, usually if you help somebody out, they're gonna be like, hey, you okay? Are you all right? Ain't nobody even do that. And I just, man, that messed my whole day up that day. I went and sat on shore. And then I was just looking at the water like, damn, man, I almost drowned. I was like 7. So, years ahead, when I moved to Minnesota, we lived in Brooklyn Center, and they had this, like, in these apartment complexes, they had this indoor swimming pool. And I used to walk by it, like, looking in, like, one day I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna swim laps, but I had to gain my confidence to do that, because before I almost drowned, so, and as a kid, and nobody's like, hey, conquer your fears, but it was something inside of me that was like, conquer your fear. So I remember, it starts off at 3 feet. I would stay in 3 feet, and it went all the way up to, I think, 6 feet. But I would stay in 3 feet and just, walk around and spend just hours in 3 feet, and this was like the whole summer. So then, I started going to that 5 feet area, and I kind of had to jump up a little bit, but I spent a lot of time in that pool. I conquered my fear. I eventually I swam from the 3 feet to the 6 feet, and back to the 3 feet underwater. Like even right now, I could swim in water with no bottom right now. I know how to float. I know how to not panic when I'm in the water. So Fast forward to about the summer of 2017. Um, that was kind of like a bad summer for me. I was in between jobs. I wasn't getting no money. Confidence was kind of whack. A lot of people was looking at me like I was shit. And that was just my reality at that time. But when you're in a funk, man, you got to keep going. You got to keep moving. You got to keep being around people. You got to keep going. You can't just sit home and be like, damn, I'm not doing nothing. Because that's going to be your reality. And my reality, I always keep moving. I never stop. I always keep moving. Always. Even when I don't see it. Because I know you're not going to be in your funk forever. You just can't if you're always moving. So, my friend, he had invited me to the Lake Minnetonka. His son is half black, half Asian. So the Asian part of the family, he invited me to like a barbecue, went there, and there was this Asian female, she was there, and she was very nice and everything, made sure I got something to eat, and I felt like I was comfortable in that barbecue setting. So then that following week, my friend at the time, he asked me if I wanted to go on a boat ride in Lake Minnetonka with that same family. And I was like, nah, think I was looking for some jobs or something at that time. And, he came back. He was like, yo, man, he was telling me like, I saw he was like messed up in the inside, and he was just telling me how, the girl, she jumped in the water, the same girl, that I had met at the barbecue. She had some beers, she jumped in the water, and she was like, she couldn't swim. I think she was too far from the boat. So, trying to come back, like people don't think like when you're swimming, that could take a lot of energy to get where you need to go to. So she was going under and nobody jumped in to save her. And the next day they found her body. I remember seeing it on the news. Like, that was crazy. And then fast forward to the summer of 2018. That's when I was invited to a boat party. It was on a pontoon. And man, we're jamming out, drinking, eating, laughing. And some of the ladies jumped in. I had a homie I had brought with that, from outside of the party. I brought him with. I'm still friends with him to this day. Very athletic dude, competitive. He had jumped in the water, and because even at the gym, LA Fitness, wherever he swims, he could swim from one side of the pool to the other without coming up. But the waves this day, it's kind of wavy, and it was getting the best of him. Like, you could see him going down, coming up, but he wasn't going to drown. So I did grab a life raft. I grabbed it and threw it to him. It didn't get directly to him, but he swam. He got on it, and then he rested a little bit. So he eventually came back. He was mad that he almost drowned, and like nobody was there to save him. Even though I did throw that raft to him. But he left. And then the our driver, the Asian guy, he's our driver. He backed the pontoon out after he dropped my friend off at the dock. And then we were like in some water where it was like thousands of feet deep. Lake Minnetonka is deep. So we stopped at an area, just so people could jump off and get their swim on. Me, I was drinking a little bit. I was eating. I was helping DJing. I play all the good songs. So I was on my phone because it was hooked up to the cord. I was DJing, and then all of a sudden, the driver, who's the Asian dude, jumped in the water. So then, it was whatever. And then his hat fell off. He had this straw hat, and he could not separate from that hat. So that hat came off his head and went like 5 feet away from him. And it was further away from the boat. So he swam towards the boat, or the hat. So then he grabs the hat and he's swimming back towards the boat, to well, we thought he was about to get back on the boat. He threw the hat. He tried to throw the hat on the pontoon and missed it. Went back in the water and then just it was like going along. And then you could see him getting tired. So he swam to go get the hat again. But then when he got it, like he didn't have no more energy. So he's like going under. He's coming up. We're like, oh, damn. And then, this girl, the same life raft, the little donut looking thing that I threw to my friend earlier, we had that again. So this girl, like, say he's there. She throws it that way. We're like, yo, what are you doing? Sometimes all you got is one chance. And you threw it the whole way where he's not. Like a whole 25 feet where he's not. So then he's like, help! And then there was a couple other football athletes or athletes on the pontoon. And dude jumped in. And then he came back. He was like, forget that. And then all of a sudden, this dude like, Leo! He was like, Leo! And in my head, I'm like, oh, shit. This is either I'm going to help him out, or it's going to be another situation the year before in Lake Minnetonka when nobody saved that girl. I had on a Kevin Garnett jersey. I jumped right in that mug, swam over to him, and then I got to him. And then, I grabbed him, and then I started kicking my feet to keep my balance. And the whole time, he's like going crazy because he's still in that mode of like, he's about to drown. I'm like, yo, you need to calm down. You're going to get us both killed, So he eventually start calming down, and then we start like floating with the water. And then, because a ship is in the water and it floats. So why couldn't two people float in the water? But you have to be calm. So that's why I had to calm him down. And then, I had my arm around him and we were floating. And then they finally threw some rafts to us. They ain't throw it the other way. But they threw it to us, got him on one. He got back on the boat. Me, I swam back to the boat, got on. And then I was like sitting there. I was like, I didn't know how to like interpret or comprehend what just happened. You know, like, shit, I just saved someone. Now I'm back on the boat. Like, do I turn up and act like it ain't ever happened? What's the next step? So then I was just like, man, let me get that cord. I plugged it back into my phone, put on the next song, and then we just start turning it up again. But it was like that awkward silence for like 3.5 minutes. Like, everybody's like, damn, that was crazy. And then we just turned up again and saved dude. Like, if I didn't jump in there, dude was going to drown. And there was no way he was going to stand on anything. It was thousands of feet deep at that point we were. And I jumped in there with no fear. Sometimes all you have is a second to make a decision. And I wasn't afraid of the decision that I made. I'm just like, shit, man, when I go in here, I gotta save this dude. I didn't want to see that dude die. So that's why I jumped in there, saved him. And I remember the time, when somebody had pulled me out from almost drowning, and then I remember the Asian female who drowned the year before in Lake Minnetonka, and now we're in Lake Minnetonka again, and it's about to take a whole nother person. So I was like, man, let me intervene. And dude's still like doing his thing right now. I don't ask him for nothing or no anything, no recognition. But, sometimes you just got to talk about different stories different things that you go through in life. And, that's one of those things. And again, if you can help save somebody, do that. This is my brand Musla here. I started a brand. And, my life is definitely not done. I'm going to continue to conquer this world while I'm here. Never give up and always keep fighting. Take life one day at a time. If you need to look at some other content of mine, just go to leopoldashley.com or I have my apparel line on there if you want to look at that. And just, if you ever feel like you need to reach out to me, go ahead, whatever. Until then, have a great rest of your day and, find a way to keep moving. Peace and love. Blessings.